Okay, cool. Can everyone see my screen now? There we go. So good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Smart Meetings with AI webinar, turning every conversations into actions. I'm Sam Hassan, the co-founder and CRO here at Tinkle. We've got an action-packed morning, so we'll be really focused. Must we wrap up way before the hour in terms of timings? But today's agenda, we're going to look at who Tinkle are and our value in the UK market and global space around AI communications. Look at the state of the nation. So what is this technology? Why is it so important, and why are businesses looking to consume meeting AI assistants to transform their business processes internally and output from Teams meetings, Zoom meetings, etc. We're going to go through the decisions, how to choose, how to choose a solution, and the considerations which businesses face. John Corbett, the director of recordings from Audio Codes, is going to kindly walk us through a demonstration of the technology, a really focused 15-20 minute overview of the technology. Then we're going to move on to Ashley Moss, the CTO at DWF Law, who's going to kindly walk through a use case and or his experience of using the technology. And then we're going to look at the next steps, which is obviously the offer today of the proof of concept, etc., to set up for your business with the 45-day trial. Okay, so who are we? Tinkle are a super modern AI communications service provider, delivering intelligence into every conversation. What we've done, we've built market leading and deliver market leading technology services that fit a use case around AI communications. So what you can see here is our tool set that we deliver to businesses through certified channel partners, and we're enabling a use case of AI communications in there. So if we look at what Tinkle is, just on the first left, that's a super powerful, easy to consume Netflix for business communication phone system platform that has AI built into it, and that's there to displace and modernize the first generation VoIP platforms like Gamma Horizon, Daisies, or even the first Avayas and Mitels on-premise phone systems. And the marketplace, here we're going to really focus around the Teams architecture, and I'm going to go into more detail on my next slide around how do we help businesses optimize their spend, their resourcing from Microsoft, and their UC capabilities for leveraging voice and AI communications within Microsoft Teams ecosystem. I won't go too much into Meeting Insights because we'll go into it as part of the presentation. Tinkle Insights is our full AI customer interaction insight platform that can sit on top of your existing telephony platform. It helps automate provision, quality assurance, compliance, shows you the performance of your sales agents, your customer service agents, and it's always on. And that's really streamlining the performance and output for businesses with regards to their communications. Tinkle AI, that's our AI agent platform, a full orchestration platform, enabling businesses to deliver AI use cases quicker, smarter, and at a lower cost with a Gartner leading orchestration platform that we deliver to the market. So that's who we are. Okay, in terms of what Tinkle for Microsoft Teams service is, effectively we've enabled best in breed automated feature services to Teams managed direct routing that we offer on a tier 1 global network. So this is enabling businesses to leverage their users' capability from Teams to make calls in and out of it. The standard service that you would imagine or require for direct routing with automated administration, which is a really good selling point of that service. And obviously the cost of access through our unlimited bundles to different regions. But moving on from the actual basis of making calls in and out of Teams, we're here today to talk about how we can optimize your business's access to some of the ecosystem technologies that we provide. Predominantly, we're going to focus on meeting AI assistants, which is obviously what we're here today to talk about, but we offer also contact center services, compliance certified call recording for screen and voice, certified Teams supported IP devices, which is still obviously very popular within the UK market, and also statistic real-time reporting within Microsoft Teams. So basically all of the services which Teams natively wouldn't provide you as a license. Okay, so what is Meeting AI Assistants? it's safe to say the structure of meetings has changed, especially since 2020, obviously accelerated by things such as COVID and the pandemic. And there's been a 70% increase in the meetings that have been held by businesses and business users within businesses. That's not surprising, right? We know that, and that's not, the stat is most probably maybe actually a bit lower than what you would imagine in terms of the new modern way of working and environments which businesses obviously operate under. The cost of meetings, this is a really important thing to emphasize. Obviously, this is an average. For some businesses, we actually see this cost of meetings being significantly higher, especially around the professional services and consultancy verticals, where people charge significant amounts of money for their time. But on average, £480 is how much a 60-minute meeting costs for 6 members of staff to attend and obviously run. 75% of all these meetings will be call recorded. I think I've seen on today's meeting a lot of Firefly bots have been added to this session, which is really interesting, obviously, because we're going to show you a solution which we feel is able to offer more value to you. But 75% are recorded, right? So other businesses are looking to record, looking to data capture, and there is a market for that, which I'll talk to you about as part of this presentation. Okay, so what are the challenges? I mean, what's the challenges that business face with having all of their 70% of meetings being held virtually? The challenge is most of the knowledge and information shared during these meetings isn't captured. And if it is captured, it isn't shared. And this is critical insight and knowledge, which helps your business grow, develop, and drive things forward. And it's not centralized, and it can't be accessed by the business and or business leaders to understand how they could improve or deliver better services to their customers. The opportunity and the challenge is how can you run or benefit from generative AI systems if the data isn't siloed or isn't accessible and isn't able to connect into your wider ecosystem of suite of business applications such as CRM, ERP, finance, etc. That is a challenge, right? So you've got all of your users consuming virtual meetings. Information's being shared, but not captured. Information then isn't really being able to be centralized because it's siloed in its delivery and understanding. And then with all that process, you're unable to run Gen A services to make it optimized and deliver greater value for automation of business process. The big one really around the challenge is how do you get an ROI from AI? You know, this is a common question that we overcome with customers when we're talking about communication AI, which we're really focusing in on as a business. But that is something which is a challenge, and we're going to show you and demonstrate to you today how this can really be a quick ROI with a calculator that makes sense and can be delivered at a low cost to your business. Okay, looking at navigating AI platform selections. So I think these are the things which we have understood from our engagement with Meeting Insights is understanding the complexity. You know, AI systems can be intricate and require deep understanding. The integration issues, you know, we talk about how this all pins together, all these data fields and points which make up your business process. You know, how can you get access to them? How can you integrate with them? Who's going to do that? What are the APIs able to support with that, etc. More importantly, and this is a real key point, with the amount of AI vendors in the marketplace is, you know, what's the vendor reliability? You know, is it going to be a company that spins up, offers some AI technology and is gone tomorrow? Where is the data being stored, processed? The security around that data. We've heard lots of horror stories around, you know, where this information is being accessed. You know, people uploading their proposals into ChatGPT, the harnessing the sovereignty of that data, etc. But really, and this is what we focus on with customers, is evaluating the use case. You know, the practical examples that illustrate a return on investment. And a return on investment that is simple to understand. It's not something that needs to be significantly risky to a business because operationally it makes sense for that user, for that department, for that business. And then the cost considerations, you know, is it going to take 6 months? Is it going to require a lot of development, upfront capital investment to deliver change? And how can they get the benefits from that investment? So what's the market share? Okay, so why look at Meeting AI Assistants? I think, put it simply, it's here. It's a $4.72 billion business currently, and it's projected to go over 10 billion by 2031. I think that's quite conservative in terms of the forecast from what we're seeing currently from some of the analysts as well. But it's here, guys. You can see meeting bots have added to this session. Your competitors are using it. Your other suppliers, your ecosystem of businesses are using this technology. So really, it's about how you can optimize it to your business use case to support your business in transformation. So how to choose? Okay, so at first, before we look to obviously choose, is looking at what the chat bots offer here. Obviously, understanding the landscape, bit of the type at the top, but look, it's looking at what they are and define them. So the chatbots are things like Copilot, ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini. They're the engines that enable businesses to offer the agentic services. What we look at here is the meeting solutions, and where Meeting Insights well and truly sits for a number of different reasons as an enterprise meeting AI assistant tool. That doesn't just sit across Teams, it sits across Zoom, soon to be WebEx, Google, etc. But it's a system that enables you to automate and provision the information that's shared within Teams meetings. I see Fireflies on here, Otter AI, Avoma. This is different to the traditional note takers, which have flooded the market in terms of access, and we'll show you why as part of the demonstration today with John. Okay, so what are the main 4 considerations which we've captured here in terms of choosing your insight software? I think, how can you turn employees recording meetings into corporate-wide insights? Yeah, we see that all the time. Businesses looking to harness information, centrally store it, and access AI to support with outcomes for automation of process. How can you turn the AI promise into revenue reality? Okay, look, so if you've got different use cases, I think obviously we look at professional services here in the legal sector. How much is that information worth, and how quickly can you summarize, automate, and deliver vast amount of information that's captured in hours worth of meetings? And what does the revenue impact mean if you can automate and speed up the process and accuracy of that, and or reduce the cost of time to process large volumes of data? 3, how can I automate actions, action items, assign tasks, meeting schedules, etc.? And how can I leverage Gen AI to improve forecast accuracy and improve sales methodology? So there's lots of different ways in which the considerations are there for different use cases in different types of vertical businesses that we work with, but all relevant with the overall business case to support this type of technology. Okay, so what does the architecture look like? Really, really simply, Meeting Insights enables you to have a centralized corporate meeting repository that provides a bedrock of being able to deliver business process automation from 70% of the virtual meetings you and your business has as a team. In terms of the application and the meetings, you'll be able to record, transcribe, recap meetings, show any of the slide content that was being delivered in the meeting, highlight key points, but more importantly, get the data from there in the meta format to be stored. You can also import recordings. There's a mobile application which we'll talk about as part of the presentation, which enables sales representations, construction site surveys to all be recorded as part of mobilizing Meeting Insights to the end user's device. But really, the main opportunity here with Meeting Insights is once you've got the metadata and it's stored within either the AudioCodes Cloud or the blob storage within your secure environment, which is a key feature and a really benefit feature of this technology, is that you can start putting this information from the meetings into things which matter into your business applications, things like CRM, Salesforce, HubSpot, Dynamics, plus more, into your task management systems, Zoho, Monday, Planner, etc. That's really where you're going to start seeing the huge advantages around the automation of information and where that information is shared. You can then take that information and you can start building out AI agents to support with the business and improving services, whether that's sales, service, customer success, etc., and also can be accessed by the PC or the mobile application as demonstrated. So I'm going to ask John. John, if you're okay to share your screen and go through and show the power of the technology.
Yeah, sure. Morning, everybody. My name's John Corbett. I'm a Director of Recording Solutions here at Audio Codes. Kind of been at Audio Codes for 5 years, another recording company before that, but too many years in the industry. I've been kind of working around Meeting Insights for the past 2 or 3, including all the exciting developments that Sam just kind of mentioned to you. So let me show you what the GUI actually looks like. So here it is. Hopefully you can all see that. Now, what Sam pointed out in one of his slides was about the central repository aspect of Meeting Insights. So we're kind of treating Meeting Insights in exactly the same way as you treat your email today. You know, you've got the central repository. If you need to go and find an email, it takes you 30 seconds to go and find that. And we're trying to provide the same sort of experience for your team's meetings now. So as you can see, this GUI here, it's very kind of Outlook-esque in its look. As you can see, I've got access to 3,760 meetings. Now, they're not all meetings that I've conducted. They're meetings that either I have conducted, I've been invited to, or I've had shared with me. And you have that ability to share meetings with other people within your organization and externally. If I want to do a search for anything within this central repository, as you can see up here, I've got a bunch of search criteria. So I can search by meeting name, I can filter by date, I can filter by owner, I can filter by participants. And this is one I kind of use quite a lot. You know, in a month's time, and I get asked about a meeting I attended, I may not remember the exact name of the meeting, but I'll remember maybe Sam was on it with me. So I can just search for any meetings that I've conducted where Sam's been a participant and then find it really easily. I can then also filter by meetings which have been unpublished, and I'll explain very quickly what I mean by that. Meetings which have been shared externally, or meetings which have been AI analyzed. So yes, this is absolutely an AI platform, but you don't necessarily have to AI analyze every meeting. It's entirely up to you. So as I say, this is the GUI. This is what it looks like. It's as I've mentioned, it's very kind of Outlook-esque in its view. So if I just pop into some that I use for kind of demo purposes. So here is one that I ran previously. As you can see, there's the media replay window here. So here's the media replay window. Nothing too groundbreaking here. You've got play, fast forward, rewind, speed controls. One thing we have got is we've got speaker separation. So as you can see, all these different color bars refer to different speakers, and you can, I did an awful lot of the talking here. So clearly I can just narrow it down to times when I've spoken. But if there was someone that someone that we wanted to find specifically and don't know whereabouts they said something in the meeting, I can just pick that particular individual and then very quickly drill into exactly where that person spoke during the meeting and find anything that he said. Down the bottom here, you've got all the slides that were presented during this meeting. Now, each of these slides can be downloaded individually if you want to, making it really easy just for you to grab the information that's relevant to you rather than the whole presentation. However, if you do want the whole presentation, or if there's any pre-reading or reference material, there's an attachment section here. And in this attachment section, you can drop the whole presentation. You can drop any reference or pre-reading material. And what that means is you don't fill up everyone's email inboxes with 30, 40 meg presentations and documents that they may or may not actually have to refer to. Drop them in here, and then anyone coming in and reviewing and replaying this meeting has access to all of the pre-reading materials. When it comes to the recap, now there's a number of standard recaps. So what we've got here is the 4 key ones: bullet points, topics, speakers, and paragraphs. So you've got, first and foremost, the meeting summarized into the top 10 bullet points. You've then got a breakdown by topic section, again illustrated in bullet point. When we scroll down a bit further, you've got breakdown by speaker, both internal and external. And then lastly, you've got, and this is probably the section that people use the most if they want to share it. You've got, this is effectively almost identical to the topic section, but instead of having it in a bullet point format, it's in a nicely formatted paragraph format. So you've got this here. Now, all of these sections, if you look at them, can be both edited, copied, or emailed directly from within the Meeting Insights application. And you might be thinking to yourself, well, why do you need an edit function? Well, this is all based on the raw transcript. So here's the raw transcript here. And it's the raw transcript that's been Gen AI analyzed to produce these recaps. Now, the best speech to text engines out there in the marketplace, Nuance, SpeechMax, people like that, will tell you that the accuracy of an untrained engine is about 85%. However, when you run that 85% accurate raw transcription through a generative AI platform, like the one we're using for Meeting Insights, then the output you get is broadly around about 95% accurate. Now, it's not 100%, like all platforms, if there are specific product names, proper nouns, things like that, it does occasionally get those wrong. And we would always advise, when you've got AI output, validate it for accuracy before you share it. So this gives you the ability to go in and edit if there are any spelling errors or names that haven't been spelled entirely correctly. You can go in and make those changes. Then you can share it, pass it out. One of the other features that we've released recently is if you've got multiple users in a room and they're all around something like a meeting room device, an MTR, Meeting Insights will identify each separate individual, even though it doesn't know them. And you then have the ability to go into the speaker separation bit here, Sam's one, but let's just say I took another one. Oh, forgive me. Let me just take one of these, just right click it. And you can see I can add a user or I can replace that speaker. If that was the wrong name, I can replace that. And that will replace all instances of that user in not just the speaker separation piece, but all of the references within the recaps as well. So really easy to make sure it's completely accurate. So that's the summary, and I've just shown you those. We've also got an outline view. Now, this is one I use regularly. The outline view is all of the subjects that were discussed during the meeting. Now, there's a phrase that AudioCodes use. You can use Meeting Insights to review an hour's meeting in 5 minutes. What do we mean by that? Well, when you've got the email summary of the meeting and the ability to go into something like this outline, you can just look through on any of these sections and you may decide, 1 to 8, I'm not really interested in. 9 and 10, they're the bits of the meeting that really interest me. And as you can see next to it here, there's a clickable timestamp. So for example, if I was to click this, I should be sharing my sound. So as you can see, I've got the meeting here and it's jumped straight into that point in the meeting. So you can jump straight there, look at the content that's being shared and get a really clear and concise output of the areas of the meeting that's probably more important to you. So moving on, we've got automatically identified action items. So these have all been generated by the generative AI platform. So it recognizes that as action items. Now, if I go in and edit the action items, I can assign them to a particular individual and give it a due date. And then that particular individual will get notified that they've picked up an action item from this particular meeting and will get then prompted to complete that action item until such point they classify as completed. So a really good way of automatically assigning action items directly from within the platform. And again, because sometimes the system just errs on the side of safety and may produce action items that aren't necessarily relevant, you can either email them, send them to Planner, or delete them accordingly. So on a very similar vein, we've got Q&As. So these are automatically identified questions and answers. So questions and answers identified by the platform. Again, you can edit them. You can delete them accordingly. And lastly, issues and solutions. Again, these are things that have been automatically identified by the platform. So you're not sitting there scribbling notes and having to assign action items and any questions that have been asked. They've all been identified by the platform itself, making it really, really effective when you need to do follow-up actions and things like that. These last two here, decisions and notes, within Meeting Insights, there is a manual sidebar that you can pull up within Meeting Insights, and you can manually add notes, either private or public notes, that can be referenced when people go back in to review the meeting, or if you make them private notes, they're just there for you. So the real benefit of that is I no longer feel the need when I'm on a meeting with Meeting Insights on to have a pad next to me and scribble notes down. Any notes that I want, I can just add directly into the meeting notes for that particular meeting. And it means when I go back and review it, rather than have to find the pad and find the page, all the notes I've added are there. And there's some other features that we can go into at a later date if anyone's interested, where you can highlight particular areas of that meeting. You know, if it's a bit too long-winded to actually type out, and unless you're a good touch typist, which I'm sorry, I'm not. I'm a kind of typical two-finger typist. But if there's something quite comprehensive that's been explained, I think I need to refer to that later on. I can highlight that particular section within the actual meeting, and it will then be stored as a completely separate entity for me to go back and reference later on. Now, just coming back to, remember I mentioned when I was going through the actual main GUI screen that I can filter by published and unpublished and things like that. So as you can see, this meeting's already been published and I have the option to unpublish it. Now, what do I mean by publish? As the meeting owner, I have the ability to choose whether my meeting becomes available. Now, when we publish it, initially only becomes available to the Meeting Insights users within the organization that I'm part of. So for example, if Sam was to publish a meeting within the Tinkle environment, that would be made available to the Meeting Insights users from Tinkle that were on that call. So they would get notified that they should get an email summary, and they'll get notified they can access the recording. There's 3 ways to publish the meeting. You can auto-publish it, which means Sam or me wouldn't have to do anything. After a preset timer, it just auto-publishes. You can delay publish, gives you the ability to go in and make some changes, and then it auto-publishes. Or you can manual publish it, which means you choose as and when you want to publish that meeting and make it available to your internal colleagues. By the way, if there's any internal colleagues on the meeting that aren't Meeting Insights users, they will still get sent the email summary of the meeting once it's published. And that's great for internal participants, but what if you've got external participants on the call and you want to share it? Well, that's what this big blue button here is for. So you can share it, and let me select external. So there's effectively 2 options. You can share it restricted only to people invited to the meeting, or anyone with a link can access the external version. And there are some differences between these. Obviously, restricted to people invited to the meeting is the very secure way to share the contents of this meeting. And that has some security processes around it. Unfortunately, this meeting's already been shared, but if I was to select this option, I would see here a list of names and corresponding email addresses, and I just tick box the ones I want to share it with. They then get an email asking them to click a link to get an access code. They do that. They then get a follow-up email with a different link that they have to input the access code into to get full access to the meeting. And they get full access to this whole meeting. Very often we get asked, oh, can you send us the meeting that we can share with other people internally, particularly if it's their first time seeing Meeting Insights. And that's where anyone with a link can access this external version. And that's how this meeting's actually been shared. So this produces effectively a hot URL that can be passed around organizations, and anyone with the URL can access the meeting. However, because we don't know who it is that could end up with this link, they effectively get read-only access to the meeting. So unlike the restricted to people invited to the meeting where they've got full access and they can download the slides and everything like that, when we send the link, they can see the slides, but they can't download them. They can play the callback, they can see all the summaries. They don't get access to the highlights or the decisions and notes and things like that, but and they also can't download any of the attachments, but they get full access to review the meeting in its entirety. Now, Sam, I don't know if you're going to mention it, but the mobile application, are you going to talk about that later on, or do you want me to just mention it now?
Yeah, I'm just going to touch on it, but you can do an overview. That'd be great. Cheers, John.
Yeah, sure. So look, we've got all this content and this functionality within clearly a web GUI. So we've got a web GUI here, and you can go and access it. One thing that we've released to the market, which has been a complete game changer, has been our mobile application. So there is a dedicated mobile application for this. I don't know, do you know what? I may actually have this open. Hang about. There we go. So we've got a dedicated mobile application now, and the mobile application extends the functionality of Meeting Insights out of the office and into face-to-face meetings. So for example, if you're meeting someone face-to-face in a coffee shop, in a meeting room, in a huddle room, you can just pull the phone out, hit the record button, plonk it on the desk, and that gets fully recorded uploaded to Meeting Insights, and then is there summarized and everything that you use on the main Teams application. And again, because of the way this works, it's uploading the file directly to Meeting Insights. That opens up a whole bunch of other user cases. So, for example, if you're one of those people that do voice notes, you can record a voice note, have that uploaded to Meeting Insights. Now that the regulations have been relaxed in the UK on mobile phones, and I don't know if any of you realise this, but next time you make a mobile phone call, just have a look at the phone screen. Most modern day phones now have a record this call button on the phone screen. Certainly on iPhones and on Samsungs and Androids, you've got the ability to record mobile phone calls. It saves it as a local file onto your mobile phone. What you can then do is upload that call into Meeting Insights and have a full summary and transcription of that call made available to you. So a massive market leader now in terms of user cases. This really does open up the user case for Meeting Insights significantly beyond just online Teams meetings. And this combined with something Sam mentioned about the personalized output and the dedicated personas, I think really sets Meeting Insights apart from an awful lot of the competition out there. So let me just kind of jump back. There we go. Oh, no, sorry, my bad. Come on. Let me escape that. There we go. There we go. Back to the GUI. So look, has anyone, I've kind of shown you what it is. If you've got any questions, I think we're asking questions to be posed in the chat session for the call. But that's it for now. Good. That's a very quick overview of the GUI.
Yeah, Sean, no, thank you so much. Really good comprehensive overview of that within such a short period of time and highlighting a lot of the value adds which this technology provides. I think really importantly, you've seen the technology, you've seen the understanding of the market. I think to bring it to life, I'm going to ask Ash Moss to talk about the real world use case of how he's deployed this technology. So Ash, are you able to, I know you're on speaker profile, so you can jump on and talk through how Meeting Insights has helped your business.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you hear me okay, Sam?
Yeah, cheers.
Thanks. Yes, so we adopted Meeting Insights of Microsoft Copilot Teams meetings. So we launched Microsoft Copilot across DWF globally, across the business for Office 365, but also for Teams. We found that it had significant shortfalls, so we adopted Meeting Insights as a enhanced meeting recording service, and it's paid off in dividends, mainly from a point of view of we're largely still remote and virtualized as a team globally, and meetings are important to us in terms of meetings with clients, meetings internally, as it is for every business. But when we use Meeting Insights, the recordings and the transcription that John's demonstrated to you is second to none in terms of how it documents that, how it sections it all out. But most importantly, it's the facts from the meeting. So we all have chit chat before a meeting starts, and we have a bit of banter sometimes. Meeting Insights cuts all that out. So you don't have everything verbatim on the meeting notes itself. It's just the facts of the recording, and that works really, really well for us because we can take the transcription and immediately we have the meeting notes. Historically, we used to have traditional meeting secretaries effectively taking the notes and then forwarding them on afterwards, which probably 2 or 3 days later. Now it's immediate, and our clients get the notes immediately as well. So we have a bit of a sanity check first, make sure that the transcription is accurate, and 99 times out of 100 it is. And we can then distribute those notes. Most importantly for us as a tech business within the law firm, we use it with our clients for discoveries. So we have technology discovery sessions where all of those are recorded. So we have actions, the follow-ups, the Q&A, all documented, and it's very, very rapid for us to build out the documentation. And we have functional designs and functional discussions around our software and the implementation of software. So what that means for us is it automatically builds out our functional specs as a starting point, and then we can then just dot the I's, cross the T's, and add a little bit more content in there, and it's recorded those sessions. So I used it in particular for a visit to Australia recently, where I had 4 days of detailed discovery sessions with technical discussions on platforms, how the design of the platform was created, who was involved, which teams. All of that was documented, and immediately I could build out the documentation and the follow-up actions from the visit. So it was a bit of an audit of a post acquisition, and it was immediately created for me out of the 4 sessions, and that saved me probably 2 or 3 days work, without a doubt. And that's where it pays off in dividends. So it is a huge time saving exercise, but also a value add to your customers, because you can respond quicker, you can create notes rapidly. And as John showed you, you can search across all of your meetings very quickly and get access to a meeting that occurred 3 months ago, and have a quick review and triage of what was discussed, the following actions, and then you're ready for the meeting. But with releases that Meeting Insights deliver, we've had a number of significant updates. One of them is pre-meeting prep. So off the follow-up of your meeting, Meeting Insights gives you effectively a summary of the previous meeting before you have the next one. So if it's a recurring weekly meeting, you'll have a summary, and everyone else who's attending will have that breakdown. So you're ready and prepped of the actions and the follow-up, so that you can be prepared before the meeting starts, and you can engage quickly. So it's not a case of then finding the meeting notes, let's look at the actions, everyone's aware, and you can dive straight into the meeting, deliver it, and then finish, and then you're completed with your Meeting Insights notes again. So for me, it's I can't do without it. It's a bit of a drug. We've got it now, and it's running really well. So I definitely recommend it.
Brilliant, Ashley. No, thank you. Really appreciate it. And really good use case. I mean, we always get asked a question. I think you raised it, Ash, on your overview around Copilot, Teams Premium, the use case, and I think from your example, this can coexist within the Copilot estate, right? Because that technology sits across automating the Microsoft
Absolutely.
suite of applications. Really, the use case for you to highlight to people on the call today is that this can complement. It's got a separate ROI, and this is really focusing on that meeting optimization and output, which 70% of your workforce sit on, and costs you on average £480 an hour for 6 people to attend, which in your case, Ash, with developers as well. I mean, we're a tech company, they're an expensive resource. Yeah, so if they're telling you and they're consulting with you information, that's actually going to put that average cost of meeting up significantly, isn't it, in terms of the time and output. So no, really, thank you for joining us, Ashley, and also great overview. As I say, we're going to open it up now for 5 minutes. If people have got any questions they want to ask myself, Ashley, and John whilst we're on the call. I might just go off the screen sharing so I can see who's going to be obviously asking the questions. Is there any questions from anybody? No? I think Curtis has just posted in. Right, well, thank you all for joining, and we will be sharing the output. If you have any questions regarding it, I'm just going to quickly share actually the offer that we've got, which I'm getting reminded of from Curtis around it all. I think we covered off the summary pieces, but yeah, the extensive roadmap that we've got here. There's lots of great features coming. It's going to be supported on lots of different applications above and beyond Teams and Zoom. Obviously, Google Meet's coming. It integrates into your CRMs, but there's more to be coming before the end of the year. Really progressive roadmap, which we can talk through. But I think the main thing to know as a call of action is obviously taking up the offer that we've got here to deploy Meeting Insights and extend it from the 30-day trial to a 45-day proof of concept with us and the teams and our partners that we can introduce to bring Meeting Insights to life in your business. It's a technology that won't take you a lot of time to deploy in terms of a proof of concept, no more than half an hour. We just need to authenticate the link to your Teams admin center, and we'll be able to give you access. So a huge thank you for me and your time. I appreciate you obviously super busy and spending the 45 minutes to join the call. Get in touch. Obviously, we're going to share the output of all attendees and obviously give you the offer on an email following the call. So thanks again, Ash and John. Really appreciate it. Thanks for everyone joining and look forward to seeing you all soon. Cheers.